With the NFL draft over with, it's time to look at some potential moves you can make with some of these veterans to impact your dynasty fantasy football team. Some of these guys are sells, some of these guys are buys, some of these guys are both buys and sells, depending on the status of your team. But we need to look at some players, and we'll do some videos on this. This will be the first of a set of many that we're going to go over here next few days and weeks. But let's dig in here. The first player we want to look at here is James Conner. He's 28 years old. And I don't see a way that there's many teams that need him that feel like they can hold on to him for the long term and feel good about that. He went through the draft unscathed. The team did not draft another running back. So his upside, his value is maintaining right now for what it's worth. And it's just RB 43 ADP right now, and he's being valued as like a mid-second on the trade calculators, but in actual trades on the trade finders, he's being valued around a third-round rookie pick. So somewhere around there is the sweet spot. Might be hard to sell if you want to get rid of him. If you're trying to buy him, I only suggest that if you feel like you're in it to win it this year and you just want depth. However, the other shoe could drop. They could sign another running back. They could bring somebody else in. He has not been posting a clean bill of health lately, and the odds of him doing that again and doing this for multiple seasons going forward is not good. I don't look for him as a good buy for rebuilding teams. I don't look for him a good buy for win-now teams. I think this is your last opportunity, your last grace period to get out while there's something to go for. And with him and selling him on the market or trying to get a trade worth on James Conner, he's a player that you're going to be looking at to package up with. Him and a pick to get a player you want. Him added to the trade to sweeten it to make sure the deal goes through. Something like that. The value's zapped here. It's not like it was a few years ago, but you also don't want this dead body on your roster here in the next 6 months or so after he's dried up. Maybe you can get another season out of him, but after that season, when he's hitting the open market, what are you going to do with him? What are you going to do with him? Is he going to win your league? Is he going to help you win your league? Probably not. Probably not. So what are we doing here? Why not build some capital? Why not get a player that we want? Why not get younger? Why not figure it out? Here's a veteran running back that we can look at who's a little bit cheaper, a little bit healthier, a little bit sturdier, who went to a situation that looks like they're planning to use him and could end up being an impact player in Dynasty. And did I mention he's a little bit cheaper? I'm talking about Samaje Perine of the Broncos. In my eyes, he's a buy and sell. So let's go over the price tag and you determine what you want to do. Javonte Williams is coming back from a knee injury, and the Broncos didn't draft the running back. They did not put capital at the running back position. So Javonte Williams starts the season off slow, or if they want to impact his touches, Samaje Perine is going to get some opportunity. Right now, he's being valued as the RB 47. He's being drafted 15 spots behind James Conner. He's a little cheaper, about the same age, but he's been healthier, has a little bit more tread left on his tires. Trade calculators have him valued around the mid-third round in rookie draft pick capital. However, in actual trades, when you look at the trade finders, he is being traded for around a mid-third to fourth round rookie pick range, so he's been a discount. When we look back to last season, he had 3 RB1 weeks when Joe Mixon was out, 6 double-digit PPR fantasy performances over the last 2 seasons. So when he does get his opportunity, he performs. He's a big power back that can handle the load. And as a backup on your regular NFL team, you love to have that because he's sturdy and he's dependable. You have Javonte Williams here coming off an injury. And if something happens or relapse happens or whatever, Samaje Perine's right there. And I guarantee you he will get some of the workload. How will this Broncos offense look? We got to change the scenery with the coaching staff. We got a new running back here to back up. They're trying to get some more weapons here. This could be a good spot for him. Maybe down the line in the season, maybe in the beginning of the season. This could give you some weeks. I look for him also as a sell because he is an older running back and people are talking him up And I look for the value to start to increase a little bit as we get further into the offseason. I look his ADP to start inching up, especially when people start speculating on Javonte Williams, especially when we get closer to the season and people start looking at him as a potential starter for the first few weeks, or a guy that's a high-end insurance policy, considering a relapse of Javonte Williams could happen, or Javonte Williams starting off slow. So I also look at him as a sell. This is for you to determine, but if I'm a win-now team and I'm looking for whatever cheap running backs to fill out the back end of my roster to get any kind of production, he's a guy I want to look at. If I'm middle of the road and I am not looking to win it this year, I need to build some pieces, I need to get younger, I need to start building capital, I'm looking for him to increase in value. I'm watching the tea leaves. I'm watching keep trade cut. I'm looking at the ADP. I'm watching him. I'm seeing when this value starts to spike a little bit. And this could materialize throughout the offseason. And I'm watching that. This could be later this summer. But he went unscathed through the draft. They didn't bring in another running back. Javonte Williams come back from the injury. There's going to be news reports coming out, and that's going to bump him up a little bit. It might make him more fluid in actual real-life trades for you, considering that. And that's something for you to kick the tires on. If you want to kick the tires on a quarterback, I got one for you. Same deal here. He's a buy, and he's a sell, but it's really depending on the format. I'm talking about Geno Smith of the Seattle Seahawks. I got him kind of as a buy in one QB leagues, but a sell in Superflex, a potential sell/pivot play, depending on what you want to do. Potential buy as well, considering the price tag and what you can get done in your league due to the fragility at the quarterback position in Superflex, because it is hard to get deals done, and sometimes you got to take what you can get off the market. But he got Jackson Smith and Jigba and Zach Charbonnet as presence in the draft. Some very good prospects to help him out. They added weapons that should, in theory, add to his production, make things easier for him. Might not happen, but in theory, that could help you out in Dynasty. Right now is being valued as the QB 21 in ADP. Same value in keep trade cut, 178 overall. And in trade calculators for 2 QB, he's being valued as a late first. When you look at that value, late first, let's throw in early second there just to add more range of outcomes there. So you want Geno Smith or are you wanting Will Levis? That's kind of what you're looking at here. Geno Smith, maybe a Hendon Hooker, depending how your league's looking at Geno Smith. 1 QB leagues, he's worth a late third, early fourth. He's dirt cheap. QBs sometimes don't move on the market like you think they do, and sometimes you have to take what you can get. 3rd and 4th round pick here's not bad if you need one, if you need a backup, or whatever. Keep trade cut has him at 91 overall in Superflex. Kinda expensive. So other quarterbacks in that range, in the Superflex range here, Brock Purdy, Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, Will Levis, Aaron Rodgers, Russ Wilson. So you can pay down, get somebody else, take a stab at that. One thing is, though, he's a little bit more liquid in the market because the market's saying, hey, I don't know how long the Geno Smith experiment's going to last. I don't know. I may want to brush him off my team. I don't know. So that makes him a little bit more liquid on the market, where a guy like Aaron Rodgers is a little bit older. They may want to hold him, just see what happens, because, you know, you got Garrett Wilson. Think about that through the trade scenarios. You got Derek Carr here, Chris Olave, Kirk Cousins. He's got some weapons there. But Geno Smith may be a little bit more liquid on the market here than what you realize. Plus, he's a player that kind of surprised us last year. So the market's really trying to say, like, hey, this might not happen again, so we want to pivot from this. So this could give you a potential buy in Superflex. Also gives you a potential sell in Superflex, because that late first value to early second, if you want to pivot to one of the running backs, Devin Achane, Kendre Miller, Charbonnet, or you want to go with Zay Flowers, something around there, maybe with Levis. You got a little bit of ammo there in the draft for you to pivot to. You also could use that to get you a quarterback for the now in Geno Smith, meaning with him being more liquid, maybe you're able to get that deal done more than not. But guys that are looking like they're going to have more long-term future, like a Kirk Cousins, that's going to be hard to make the deal happen for. And then maybe Aaron Rodgers, they want to hold him. Maybe you can catch a quick flip for him, but how much longer are you going to have him? Russ Wilson's a little bit scary, probably valued in the same light, same as Derek Carr, but you do have some options in that range. But Geno Smith, through the draft, should see a little bit of a value bump, but also has some pieces there to really affect him. But at 2QB, he's a pivot to Levis or Hendon Hooker, or a pivot from them as well. And also, he's a pivot to get you to some of those rookies in the back end of the first round, or he's a pivot to quick quarterback production if you're hurting and you're looking to get a deal done. Looking at a wide receiver here that we may need to park the break, wait a little bit on, is Rashad Bateman, being valued as wide receiver 38 on ADP. He's coming back from that Liz Frank injury, had that surgery. That usually takes time for players to ramp up, get back to speed, if at all. So if you're looking to buy in, you may want to do it a few months down the road. I'm talking about 3 to 6 months from now. If you're trying to get Rashad Bateman, I'm guessing the price is going to dip there. If you're looking to sell, you may want to do that earlier, because I'm guessing this price is going to dip a little bit because it does take some time for players to come back from this injury. I could be wrong. I mean, this is medical stuff we're dealing with, but we're playing the odds here. So if you like them, you might be able to catch more of them come October, late September, if this injury is impacting him. They drafted Zay Flowers in the first round. This gives the Ravens some extra weapons. This also gives them extra weapons for them to play with if they need Rashad Bateman to sit out a little bit as he's rehabbing. He's been working out. We covered the clips on here. That's why we covered the clips, so we can get a look at these players. But he's just running a little bit. He's just running a little bit right now. We're in May. We need things to ramp up a little bit. Expect a value dump. Expect his value to go down a little bit. And that's going to dictate what you want to do here in the next few months. It's not just the price right now. Try and guess the price in the future. And I'm trying to guess that his price is going to dip a little bit, and maybe you can buy back in at a cheaper price tag. Another wide receiver who's getting pretty cheap, the fifth player we're talking about today, is Tyler Boyd. He's 28 years old, about to turn 29. He's on the last leg of his deal with the Bengals. Also being valued as the wide receiver 75 in ADP. With that being said, even though he's dirt cheap, he's really just good for win-now teams, because you do not know how long he's going to be available for you. He's a one-year rental. And if you hear the words one-year rental and it's kind of cringy to you, definitely someone to stay away from, to sell, or whatever. And if it's okay to you, you're probably in it to win it, and you're cool with having a one-year guy for dirt cheap. Worth the mid-third, a little later on the trade calculators. I feel that's in as a range of outcomes. Also, the Bengals drafted Charlie Jones in the 4th round. This looks like an insurance policy to have somebody in the slot just in case they need to go away from Tyler Boyd, which could happen. So if I'm looking to win now and I'm looking to get depth at the wide receiver spot, Tyler Boyd might be a guy to look at, because you got him this year. Maybe you can catch a one-year extension the next year. Maybe. And you're getting into this Bengals offense. As you know, if something happens to Higgins or Chase, Boyd can be very productive for you in fantasy. So that's a player you kind of want on the back end of your roster, especially if you're a win-now team. If you're rebuilding, you want to stay away from 28-year-old players. You want to stay away from older players on the last year of their deal. And you want to look towards the future. You kind of want to flip those guys or just stay away from those guys as well. If you're in a startup draft, just look at your team construction. See if this is a good spot for you to dig in at wide receiver 75 to help you now. Or if your team feels like it might need another year or two, depending on how you drafted, then you may want to go younger or think a few years down the road. But those are 5 players we're talking about as movers in our Dynasty leagues after the draft. Not everything's one for one, so I gave you a bunch of scenarios. You do what you want to do with them, but I'm looking at the tea leaves here and trying to help you guys out. Make sure you smash that subscribe button on the way out. It's going to only help you build your Dynasty teams, get you ready for them rookie drafts, and I'm dropping player clips multiple times a day now, because we're back to that part of the off season. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.